mental pain
I
and
agree.
suffering.
Yes, nigga, you sold my shit, and now I'm suffering
Mental.
mentally because now, yep, because mentally I have to think about my information being
Oh
out
my
there. Yep,
God! It's a
absolutely.
fucking blizzard. It's a
No, you
fucking
don't get to sell
blizzard.
my shit. The podcast that you're about to listen to does not care about your emotions, your hypersensitivity, or your political correctness. If you wish to continue, then
shut up and sit down.
All right. Well, let's talk about this fucking new update that Apple's doing with fucking the permissions. Yeah, I heard that fucking Facebook is like suing them over this shit.
Yeah, dude. I downloaded the update. And bruh, it's so much better because off of the simple fact that when I go into Facebook, first it tries to plead its case to me. Like, oh, like, come on, man. It's good to have the advertisements. We can really help your life. Man, fuck you. You hit don't allow. The whole concept is crazy behind it.
But like you say that, but like my initial when I hear that, like I really just like I felt inside without any real context was just like, yo, fuck Facebook. Like that's what I felt. I wanted to say immediately. And maybe it's just my response to like hearing them because I know that they are just involved in so much, but like
I mean the audacity
really
of you to try to get mad at another fucking dude. All these fucking companies are out their fucking mind. Period. They're out their fucking mind. You think you have a right to not only take my data, my information, listen to my conversations, you're going to sell that to other corporations so they can try to sell me shit? SMD from the B, bro.
I agree. Whatever. I think listen, that's exactly you, John. That's exactly what it is. They're losing. They know they're going to lose. They make a good amount of the data and selling the data and advertising. So without blatantly saying, hey, us spying on you makes us a lot of money, we're just going to say, actually, no, this is in your best interest. A lot of, we're doing this for you. Actually, you're really losing out because now we can't cater the advertising to you and get the products that you want and all that stuff.
I mean, that's kind of true, though. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. You're listening to Alpha Watt Podcast. I'm Frank, John, Fabian. That's actually true though. Like when you have advertisements that's catered to you, that you're not looking at as much bullshit. Like there's like the relevancy is actually there, and it helps more than just big business also.
But why do you have to advertise to me in general? Like I'm not asking. I didn't want when I first joined Facebook, it was a place for friends, right? Or it was at MySpace. Either way, yeah. I'm not here to be sold a purple mattress, right? That's not what I'm here for. So fuck you. And I think that then they're now Facebook is now putting out statements and trying to scare consumers. Well, if you don't if you opt out of this ad shit, Facebook might not be free anymore. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, who the fuck would pay for Facebook? I don't even want to be on Facebook with people who would want to pay for Facebook. And Trevor Noah said that the other day on his little Daily Show shit. But it's like, really, dude, I would never pay for that shit. I would never pay for it.
You may not, but the truth of the matter is, yeah, it's a free platform and someone has to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just kind of the way things work, right? So think about how much information people freely give. Like think about what sacrifices people are willing to make for conveniences regularly in their everyday. So is it really that big of a deal that, hey, they know what you searced recently and they're going to cater something to you?
Well, what do you mean by like how much they give willingly?
Like people sacrifice their information nonstop on a daily basis. Like,
I don't know if it's willingly. It's just that I don't know.
It is willing. You know why I say it's willingly? Because how many people actually read the acknowledgments that and terms and conditions that are presented to them in all these different things? I'm not faulting them because I don't. I'm one of those people, right?
Yeah, but
so now all of a sudden you want to act upset.
Like, yeah, but come on, bro. That legal jargon is there. Legal jargon is there to confuse you anyway. That's why they make it the way they do. It's right. So you don't feel interested in understanding it, and so they can get away with shit. So what Apple is doing is no, you're not doing that to people because in lieu of, so before, because it's not like you couldn't do this before on your own, but you would have to go through all these million. And if anybody has Facebook, which we probably all do, you go to the settings and try to go to privacy settings. It is so confusing. It is so convoluted in those settings that you would never, ever figure out how to turn that shit off unless there's like a fucking tutorial. Well, what Apple says is no, that's not fair. We know what you're purposely doing. So instead of opting out, you have to opt in.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it for the tracking though? So it's not to say that you're not going to get advertisements and promotions. You're just not going to get them catered to you.
Right. And well, right. And which is fine. Advertise to me some random shit. I don't want you looking at my information. I'm sorry. I value my information. So and they make millions of dollars off of me and you and everybody else.
So what I think they could do is, basically the public information you put out there, I think is fair game. So for instance, if I buy a product from Amazon, right, and they see I bought that product, I willingly bought that product on their site, and they decided to cater, oh, you should also buy this with this because this might, might go together, whatever it is. People bought this.
But you bought a toy and now they're selling you batteries.
Exactly. That I understand. You willingly did that. But if they have the microphone or the camera or whatever it is somehow on, or they see your searches across other platforms that aren't that one, that's almost that's a little bit different where you're not voluntary. Like if I'm on your site, use my information if I decide to give it to you on your site willingly. And I understand that. Buying from you, you want to cater to me. Cool. But now if I go into another app and you see me on Instagram or you see me talk to my friend about, hey, I need a new back massager or whatever it is because I threw it out. Now all of a sudden it pops up on my Amazon account, pops up on my Facebook advertising. That's a little bit different. That's a little bit more of an invasion. I'm not willing to give you that conversation of that information, but you're listening into it in hope in under the guise of we're trying to cater to you.
Right. So what happens is when you shop online, you shop on Amazon, Facebook is actively you don't even have to have Facebook open. It's actively tracking what you're doing on other apps.
Always working in the background.
Yep. Right. And so once you go on Facebook, you now get those things that you were looking for advertised on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You know how many times I've been looking up sneakers and then I find those sneakers right on Instagram, right? Or right on Facebook advertised to me for this low price of whatever. And it's like, bro, I didn't ask you for that. I didn't ask Facebook to find me Nikes. Nigga, I can find my own.
I'm not even gonna lie. It always creeps me out when it's not a physical search that I've done, where it's like like you said, Fabe, when like I was speaking to somebody about a product or something that I recently bought or whatever, and then like the next thing I know, like that shit's popping up. Like I just redid my yard, and I think I was talking to my wife about fucking like sprinklers, like to water the grass. And next thing I know, I got a Home Depot advertisement on my shit with not just a Home Depot advertisement for the sprinkler, but that was also showing me the nearest Home Depot.
That is sick. That is sick. And we have become so comfortable as a society with that. I ain't mean to cut you off. It's a mind-boggling to me.
Well, we're comfortable for the convenience, and we're almost used to it because we've always known that if you get onto these social media platforms and stuff like that, it comes with the territory. They all do the same thing. So if you want to be a part of it, guess what? You're gonna have to get down with the program. So it's almost like you have no choice. But now they're changing the game up, and I don't even want to get into. I mean, it's one thing to have them listening to you on the advertising, but everybody knows if anybody follow. Well, not everybody knows, but I'm not even gonna get into the whole Snowden shit what he was talking about. But
I mean, that's actually pretty relevant to what's going on here because it's all about what NSA bullshit. Really,
the biggest social media platforms are in cahoots with the government in terms of invading people's privacy on a daily basis.
Apple's not. Shout out to Apple, yo, because even like I think we were talking about before.
I agree with that.
There was a terrorist, right, and he had killed a bunch of people. The Pulse nightclub shooting a couple of years ago,
right?
And Apple wouldn't give up the fucking information, and I'm kind of glad they didn't. Don't care if he was a terrorist. I'm not unlocking his phone. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Because it set a precedent for the rest of us.
And exactly, John. And I agree the same way, because that goes to, our freedom of privacy. Like I said, I'm a big firm believer in the Constitution. And what happens is a lot of people are so willing to sacrifice certain freedoms or dilute certain freedoms. Like, yeah, it's okay to do that. Under the guise of keeping you safe. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but Second Amendment, all that stuff, a couple of things happen. People get upset. They want to react. Let's take this away. Let's take this away. Let's take that away. I know they're very two separate things, but it goes under the same premise that I believe in, where it's just like, don't dilute our rights, or freedom of speech, freedom of privacy, or whatever it is, because we have a couple bad apples and we have people abusing it, and we can't get so complacent and let them do that. And we got to stand up for it, or else it's going to continue to happen.
It's just the audacity of a corporation thinking that you deserve my information and trying to convince me that freely giving you my search information benefits me somehow. Mm-hmm. It benefits them monetarily. That's why they want it so bad. Mm-hmm. But how does that benefit me in any other way? So why can't I sell my own data to the companies? Why the companies is not asking me my opinions on shit and calling my house or emailing me personally? No, they're going to Facebook and collecting that shit.
Mm-hmm. That's where it gets rough, right? Is because that not only is your data being collected, but then it's also being sold, right? Mm-hmm. So this company is exploiting you essentially and exploiting your information, and that's where and that is an area where it really does start to get dicey, because where's your profit, right? And it's not to be like greedy about it, but why do you have the right to sell my shit to anybody without any kind of, where's my kickback then? Right? I gave you this information. You're using it for all your different studies, because remember, it's not just for you. Yeah. It's also a demographic thing.
Analytics and all that stuff that we're going.
Right. Yeah. Because that's why when you sign up for apps, when you open up accounts and all this stuff, it asks you male, female, or, now, like, I don't know, your birthday. Right. Mm-hmm. It asks you your birthday. Some things ask you your ethnicity, because that's being used to identify groups that are participating or looking for certain things.
Well, they want to put you in a category so that they can more target you as far as buying shit. And that's what they want you
not just to target you, but to target you as efficiently as possible, because then they'll take your information, put it into an algorithm, and it's like, yo, if you present it this way, they will be 5% more likely to buy, right? So it's all in a way of hurting you towards a specific goal of using or buying a product or service, right? And that's really where it gets dicey, man.
And actually, believe it or not, which is something I didn't even think about, just it came to me right now, but I started to notice it. It actually causes more of a divide amongst Americans than you think, right? And what I mean by that is, for example, John, you start looking up some BLM stuff, right? You start looking up stuff on Joe Biden. I start looking at conservative stuff. PJ starts looking up at Green Party shit. Guess what?
What?
The only information you're going to see now on your newsfeed is stuff that's catering to your political standings, at least, or your leanings. So you start looking up. So you start looking up certain things. So you have one group of people thinking one way, one group of people the other way. Instead of mixing, matching the information, so everybody gets a little bit, you're going to get the stuff that's catering to what you believe in.
That's why
you're going to be immersed. You're going to be immersed in your own
Fox
freaking
News propaganda, baby.
Yeah, no, I'm on a bunch of both. I'm on both stuff. So
I'm like Tucker Carlson's biggest fucking watcher.
Did you guys know that Facebook politically categorizes you? Like based on what you view and what you like and what you spend time, taking in, they automatically will categorize you. I think I got categorized as a conservative, right?
Whoa.
Not conservative. No, not that was
moderate, right?
Moderate, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
And I I didn't know if I should be offended because like you're labeling me when I found this out, or like
snowflake.
But damn, I'm impressed by your shit.
Whether I should have felt like the severe intrusion that it really felt like. But like
Which
if you
it
go,
really is.
If you open Facebook and you go into your settings, there's a section for your Facebook information, and you can legitimately view. It's a little bit easier to do on desktop, I believe. But you can look at your off Facebook activity and manage that activity. You can also download a copy of your information that Facebook has collected off of you so that you can transfer that information to another service.
Jesus Christ, man.
You can take your photos, your videos, and whatever information to transfer. Like, the amount of things that they take from you, and you know, you're a file at Facebook headquarters digitally. They'll
Which
pull
means,
up
don't get it twisted that you can't be a file somewhere else. If they have a file, you guaranteed they're sharing that. Guess what? That file is going to other places too. Best believe.
You know what's wild? Like, I'm looking at mine right now. It says that my primary location is Monroe, New York.
Mine's too. I'm looking at that. I'm trying to find where my political shit is at.
It's telling me my search history, my likes, my information, my activity across Facebook. Let's see what that shows. Oh my God. It can tell you who you poked. Pause.
You think you can screen share for the viewers, man? Let's just show them what you.
I don't want them to see my shit, bro. I want to see my shit. They don't need to know who I poke. Only my wife needs to know.
I'm trying to. Oh, nice. I'm trying to find out where they post my political shit. I think I've seen that before, but I forgot where it was at. Whatever.
But it's like you said,
my political party is real nigga. Fuck y'all.
But it's like you said, they bury your shit. Like they don't make it easy for you to find your own information. And like how they've classified you.
That's purposely. That's all.
And they make it so easy for other companies to access that same information.
Yeah.
Silver platter here. How do you want it? You want USB format? You want to set it in GIF? How do you want all this?
Want a PDF?
We can set you an Excel spreadsheet. Whatever you want, we got you.
it gets to the point where like you're trying to find this shit and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I give up. I don't have the patience for this right now.
I just gave up. Have my information. I can't do it. I have to Google it, and Google has to tell me. And now that I'm Googling it, and they're gonna start showing me fucking iPhone tutorials and new accessories for the phone. Dude, I swear to God, but that's how it works, right? I can't even Google how to fucking turn some shit on my iPhone. Getting
advertisements for the Galaxy and shit, though. You'll send Facebook all kinds of. You looking up Google stuff? Hold up, what you wanted? The Google tablet.
Check out this new Zoom or PowerPoint class for $1.99. It'll teach you how to use your phone more efficiently.
It's wild, bro.
You know what gets me mad about the shit worse than anything is that sometimes that bitch work. That they'll give me the perfect ad that I am on YouTube and I watch the whole fucking ad.
Yep.
I sit there and be like, I really want to try that man soap that they've been talking about. I really want to start shaving. I really want to start shaving my balls with Manscaped.
Those squares, those square bars.
I have those.
I
have those. I have them. My mother got them for me for Christmas. They're fucking phenomenal. No. It was gifted. It was gifted, but they were.
I bet you they was advertised to her.
But can I tell you what though? That Manscaping lawnmower 2.0 shit that pops up on my shit all the time because
the time I'm going to buy it.
We are men that take care of ourselves. Best believe I have clicked on that ad, but I've also clicked on that ad and then like left it because I felt a certain kind of way. Like, damn,
like how dare you know what I want, motherfuck you.
I'm gonna go to the website myself because I don't trust the legitimacy of this. But yes, I'm interested, and fuck you for making me interested.
Actually, what I do that after that is actually cross-reference and be like, okay, this is in here. Oh, Amazon, see if they got it there. Then I know it's actually all right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, click buy.
But you're still either way, you're still making that purchase, and that's really what it is. When the advertisements work, when they show me a new video game that I had never had interest on buying or even thinking about, and I'm like, damn, this just looks pretty dope.
listen, we've advertised on Facebook and Instagram. We do, right? Because we love and appreciate our listeners and want more, right?
Right.
So, hit that share button. And
Liddy.
When we do so, you're paying per click, right? That's how you know it's working. So Facebook is relying on, hey, we're going to present this to you. And yeah, the advertiser is the one who creates the content that's being presented, but they're looking for tangible results, right? And Facebook provides them provides the information to help you create a better advertisement. And so I think that's what bothers me is like, I don't want to make Facebook look successful when I see those things.
I mean, but they never work with me on Facebook. I get annoyed because that's not why I'm there. If I'm watching a YouTube video and a commercial comes on, I think I'm more apt to buy what's on YouTube selling me in a commercial, because I come from an era where I watch TV, a commercial comes on, you either like the commercial or you don't. Like, that's why I see the Manscaped commercials and all that. I see that shit on YouTube. I do not go to Facebook to be advertised to. I go to Facebook to watch everybody be down bad and tell me their life. Like, I don't go there I go there for entertainment. I don't go there to be advertised. So if I'm going to YouTube, I kind of expect and I'm okay with advertisements there.
I'm just saying, Facebook just made me feel good about myself. I'm under the logged information section. And under friend peer group, which is a life stage description of your friends on Facebook, it says established adult life.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a big accomplishment, man.
That's kind of how I felt, right?
I wonder what mine is at. Damn. Oh, man.
Working on adulting.
Working on it. Still playing.
I thought that was kind of cool. But in all seriousness, like, the real downside, though, I think, to a lot of this is that the three of us are small business owners, right? And if we choose to advertise, we've learned that you can advertise demographically and also geographically, right? So both of those advertising avenues requires information. Otherwise, you're blindly doing it. And for people like us, for small businesses, that shit hurts. And that's the part that sucks about it. So, like, people will do things to, get back at big corporate America. But like everything, who ends up really being affected by it, ultimately being affected by it, are people like us that have, a prospering food truck business or a sex toy business or an automotive shop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it.
I agree, but I also
the fact that those options were there for me to opt out the whole time, right? And now I'm given the option to opt in instead of having to opt out, and instead of having to search for that. It's not like you're forcing people to do this, right? By giving them the option to opt out means you have to search it for it specifically. I think it's more ethical to ask me to opt into it. And if I don't want to opt in, it's unethical to force people to do that.
No, it's not unethical, because technically, I'm sorry, PJ, but technically this is where they'll get you. And this is where they'll say, they never made it that they forced you. It's in the terms and conditions that you accepted. They're just building awareness and making it easier to say yes or no versus.
Well, I'm talking about on Facebook's behalf. It's unethical for them to hide that shit, right? That means you were trying to hide that so people didn't turn it off. And the ethical part is Apple saying, no, that's not fair. You know how you're getting these people. I don't want to do that. And so Facebook doesn't have a right to sue Apple now because they're user friendly and consumer friendly. That's not. Apple shouldn't be punished for that.
No, I don't think they should be. I don't think they should either. But to Facebook's defense, I understand what they're saying, and I don't necessarily agree with it. I feel like if you're doing something, it should be upfront and center as much as possible. You know what I mean? Be as transparent as possible is what I'm saying, John. And I agree with you. They they weren't being transparent before. They hit it in the terms and conditions, and then all of a sudden you're finding out, oh shit, why am I getting these advertisements? I just mentioned this shit to my wife. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you don't realize when you accept those terms and conditions, any changes that happen, you do updates and stuff like that, you by default accepted it from the beginning, so you're okay with the changes that are made.
Yeah, well, don't be mad at a company undoing your bullshit. You can't sue them now because they're just for the people. They did a thing for the people. You were trying to fuck the people. They didn't do anything illegal by making our phones have the option to opt out of being tracked.
Yeah,
that's it. I have to choose to be being tracked instead of having to say no, I don't want this. I have to say yes, I do want this, and that's way better. When I open my app, I want to know, are you tracking me, and I want to give you permission to do it.
I agree.
You don't have to turn it off.
I like that transparency. So it's forcing them to be transparent. It's forcing them to. You have to voluntarily do it, which I am 100%
pissed about it.
And
how many people are realistically gonna opt in? Let me ask that. Right, but only because the options being presented. I don't think there's many people that are gonna opt in. So then, again, like those who end up ultimately and truly suffering. Well, big business suffer, yes. Congratulations. Okay, great. But ultimately, those who are using it for, smaller means, right? And more like on the geographical side, right? Because if I'm advertising to Westchester County, now I don't even know who is in Westchester County. My ad could end up being shown to somebody in fucking Texas. Now I just lost money. I just completely wasted money when all I'm trying to do is grow my business.
I understand that, but my rights to privacy is more important than your business getting off. Fuck your business. My privacy is more important than that.
Yeah,
sorry.
Is it really? Because most people didn't give a shit until now it's presented to them.
It's not that it didn't give a shit.
I think it's convoluted and really it's just
not that nobody gives a shit. It's most people don't even know they're being tracked. Most people don't even know they're being tracked. And to untrack yourself, you have to go through so many steps. All Apple did was there are no steps.
I'm sorry. If you don't know you're being tracked, you're an idiot. If you don't know you're being tracked, you're an idiot. Like everything is tracked. The moment
my 11-year-old has an iPod or iPad and they search whatever on the internet, they're consenting to shit. They're a little kid. They're consenting to shit, and they don't even know that they're consenting to it.
That's the fault of the parent. Not the fault of the kid.
No, it's not a fault. It's terrible business practice, predatory business practices. That's not right. It's not ethical just because your business. Fuck your business. Fuck your business. Find another way. Go to a newspaper.
I think that's bullshit. I think if
I shouldn't be forced to see your ads.
I'm not saying that you should be forced to see my ads. What I'm saying though is, like in your example, if my kid's online searching something that now all of a sudden that ads are going to appear for that. Well, all right. Maybe certain things should be monitored a little bit better so that your kid doesn't have a certain access to certain things.
Well, you're saying everybody knows they're being tracked.
Because realistically, that's what the world is. So the parent knows that the shit is being tracked. So then the parent can put things in place to control that. Is what I'm saying. I can't
wait till your daughter get the internet. I can't wait and have the same conversation with me in 10 years.
This is why my daughter is not yet on the internet.
She can't,
because I know that once she is present, once I post a picture and things like that, that's it. It's there. Period. I can't do anything about it. Even if I deleted all Facebook, guess what? Facebook got that shit archived. And some master fucking tech genius, somebody who knows how to pull this information can get that information. So I actively keep my daughter off of social media.
But you're reliant because you send pictures to families and friends and videos. So you're reliant on Apple as a corporation to keep that same picture that you don't want on Facebook. You're reliant them to keep that shit encrypted on your phone that nobody can hack it. So it's like,
right. But I'm talking about the shit that you put on the web. I completely and utterly agree with Apple keeping and locking, not giving access to the government officials, the shit that you keep on your phone. That's yours. That's private. I get that. Yeah, don't unlock a computer for somebody. I don't, regardless of what they did. It sucks. It could be a predatory situation, but keep that information private. But what I'm saying though is when you start using the internet to go onto these other private businesses, right? And you're putting information out there, like on Facebook, you put where you work, where you went to school, where you live, right? Like your current general location, right? You could. I would challenge y'all to pick 10 friends. Go check out that shit. Most of them probably have at least half of that information filled out. Then on top of it, you can even double down and say, "Hey, this person's my cousin. This person's my sister. This person's my mother." Right. So you put all your fucking information out there, and now all of a sudden people want to get upset that their information is being used to advertise to them.
The only people that are upset are small business owners and Facebook. Who's mad? Because you gave me an option now. Now I choose. It's user. It's ethic. Who's ethically right?
Yeah, but don't act like they were wrong in the first. But don't act like they were wrong in the first place when people are freely giving them this information.
Regardless,
which is my point. That's my point.
Regardless if they're wrong in the first place or not, they have no ground to stand on in this argument. They have nothing. I don't give a fuck. No. If Apple is now allowing me as a user, and I'm a part of their ecosystem, and they're giving me the option. They didn't force anything. They forced the apps. If you're going to put your apps on my phone, you have to tell my users of my phone what you're doing with your shit.
Yes.
And now we know. And now we it's not that we just know. Now we can easily deactivate it. And now somehow Apple's the bad guys. And now Facebook gets to be mad, and other people get to be mad that Apple does this. No, they didn't do anything wrong. They did something that was super consumer friendly for their consumers, which is us.
It goes back to what I was saying before.
I don't disagree with you, but all of a sudden, people want to act like Facebook is such a villain about it, though.
You become a villain when you try to sue. When you're trying to stop.
I agree
Apple
with you.
From doing that.
I do agree with you on that part. But like, again, it's just like all of a sudden you want to be so, people want to be so convicted in that though. But then again, you go to this person's profile and you damn well know their home address. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it goes back to what I was saying before. That there's a fundamental difference here, and I see exactly what you're saying. Anytime you sign up to anything, anytime you go to a web page, anytime you go do anything, they ask you for some basic shit: name, address, phone number. Right? Facebook dives in being social media because it's social media, so you need a little bit more know a little bit more about you. But again, when you put that in there, I voluntarily put that information to be part of that site and to be seen more or whatever it is, and to connect with people, whatever it may be. However, if I decide to close that app, my connection with them is now done. I'm not volunteering putting any more information on there. If I go to another app, I don't want that same app that I gave information to, because I want to voluntarily put the information I want in there.
That's not how the internet works. That's not how the internet works. And in 2021, if you don't understand that's not how the internet works, I'm sorry, you're a fool.
But that's how Apple's making it work now. You can't do what you're talking about anymore.
I'm not faulting Apple in the process. What I'm simply trying to say is people want to act all of a sudden
contradicting
how egregious it is that this information is being collected.
When I put my information
glorify Apple about it, but meanwhile, because it's not just on your phone, right?
Yeah, but when I put my information, my high school, my birthday, I did that when there were no advertisements on Facebook. Right. So you took the information that was there previously that I did not consent. I did not post that. There was no tracking. There was no nothing. I put that information on there many, many years ago, over a decade. So now you're taking the information that I put. You're not going to my MySpace and doing it.
Can we all, MySpace was doing it. Can we all agree that all sites that you visit collect your information? All sites have cookies. All sites basically essentially plant a bug in your computer to know what you're looking at. We agree on that.
Apple
right?
says, we agree.
Apple says that they are not going to allow it through the apps. So what's to say that if you go into a browser and look up something, that information still can't be accessed?
Well,
but also the big difference is that
the pop-up comes up. If it's tracking you, allow or don't allow.
Yes, allow or accept. Yeah, or it even did it before with cookies. You're absolutely right. You can either accept cookies or not accept cookies. It gave you the option.
You can. So it does that now. So how many times do you not accept the cookies? Because you don't accept the cookies, it normally kicks you off the website.
Yeah. Accept the cookies,
right? Yeah. So, all right. So now we get into the actual habits of people When you inconvenience them, what are they going to end up doing?
But you're purposefully inconveniencing them. You're doing it to be dishonest. You're doing it to try to get over on them. That's the purpose. It's not like they're just people are not being negligent when you get a mile-long user end agreement.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm trying to say though is what ultimately are people going to do because they don't like the inconvenience? We have a social situation going on in this country right now, right? And people are doing certain things so that they can avoid the inconveniences of what they believe to be coming in the future. They don't want their vacations hindered. So they're taking certain actions. And yes, I'm speaking in fucking code so YouTube doesn't fucking flag us again, assholes.
Fuck YouTube.
How is that any different?
It's a lot different, bro.
How?
Because again, you know what you're signing. Like when you know you sign up for it. I go to YouTube, I expect to be advertised. I do not want to be advertised on everything that I do. And again, like Fave was saying, once I leave your app, why are you still listening to my conversations?
Yeah, that
you don't have that right.
That might be wow.
And that's
what's happening.
I know it is.
So when Apple that pop-up happens, that's what it's stopping. It's not stopping ads. It's stopping them from when you go to other things, they can't watch you.
There's
literally tracking.
I don't recall if it happens on all of them or not. When you first open certain apps, it tells you that it likes to send you notifications. It tells you what it would like access to, right? And you also dictate when it has that access, right? Like while using the app or always or whatever.
Right.
So there have been, and this is on Apple. I don't know how the fuck it works on them shitty Googles.
Peasants. Unless you're listening on an Android, then we love you.
Thanks. That's how it works on Apple's, where it gives you that information. So it's not like there have been things in place to help you control your connectivity with those things, right? And like I said, I don't necessarily think that what Apple's doing is a bad thing. What annoys me is that the reaction I feel like people are having, like, fuck yeah, Apple, fuck them. Like, bro, you didn't give a shit 5 minutes ago. Like me, when I use the internet, I'm always in an incognito window. Why? Because there's no tracking there, right? Even if you're on a cookie site, they're not saving cookies in an incognito window.
Okay.
But most people don't care to do those things. You know what I'm saying? I turn off notifications. I turn off most of my tracking intentionally. I go into my settings and I do these things because I don't mind being on grid, but I want to limit my on grid.
Mitigate as much as possible. And I totally get that.
I mean, it's almost like a laziness. What's happened? What it's like Apple has been forced into this position, right?
I don't think it's necessarily laziness.
You mean
I just think that when it's the same reason why you can't.
No, Apple's been forced to limit the intrusion because the intrusion has been allowed to become so great. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. A problem. We've created a problem that Apple's trying to address for us.
Being just complacent and accepting of whatever's going on.
Right. Well, we propagated this whole system of information, of access.
If everybody read those damn terms and conditions, we wouldn't be going through this right now.
Right, but at what point do you don't have a choice, dude? These companies hold you fucking hostage.
You have a choice, but see, you just hit my core point. You have a choice. You don't have to use Facebook. Though. You don't have to use these things.
I'm not even talking about that. It could be.
It's a choice to use these things.
Use your bank's app. Your bank has an app, right?
Yeah,
and you have an end user agreement for that.
You don't have to use it. You can go to the bank. The bank exists.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but what you are saying.
I'm sorry. I've been drinking, so I feel a little.
It's fine. It's not. Even though it might be logically sound. It is not reasonable. And so, since it is not reasonable, it's not really feasible, right? It's not reasonable to do this. It is not reasonable not to, when you need Facebook for work experiences and you need, if you're on Indeed, you got to fill out another end user agreement. You got to agree to more shit. And I'm looking for a job, right? And if you don't have that, then so
it's a lot harder. It's a lot more inconvenient. Yes.
No, it's not about even. Sometimes it's not about. It's impossible because there are certain.
Not impossible. It's inconvenient.
In 2020, you can't go find a paper application anywhere. Go find a paper application somewhere. Dare you? You're not going to find it, right? And so since you don't, you have to go to a website, right?
I kind of want to accept your challenge, but
I do it, right? And I'm
John's on to stuff here. He lies,
right? Yeah. And so, and since that's the case, you got to go to a website. You got to fill out agree to an end user agreement. At this point in time, you don't have choices to accept the terms or not. You don't. Even if I'm looking for something on the internet that is necessary, my child is sick and I need a piece of medical equipment. I got to go to a website. I got to agree to them looking at my shit just so I can get this thing, right? It's not about, I'm sure I can walk around and look for that same piece of equipment, but it's not reasonable.
But time out. So part of what you're saying is accurate. But like, for example, when you go to fill out certain things, certain forms online, right? I don't know who is or is not familiar with the little lock symbol that appears in the top corner of your web browser. That means it's a secured page, right, John? That information is not being collected.
All right.
The information on those pages are not being collected.
But you still might have to agree to terms.
You might have to agree to terms, but the information that you enter of pertinence is not being collected.
I understand, but if I didn't want to agree to those terms, then what do I do? Regardless of if it's pertinent or not.
You can agree to those terms in an incognito window, which isn't going to save your data. So how did it affect you?
Agree. I still had to agree.
But know how to navigate the system then, though. Is what I'm saying.
If I have to learn how to navigate the system, that means the system is set up for me to be punished by it, right? If I have to navigate,
not necessarily. Not to be punished, to be manipulated. You're a
what I mean in this context is the same thing. In this context is the same thing, right? So either way, none of this is good ethical business, and I don't feel bad for one fucking corporation that uses my information or listen. I don't care. I'm not going to have an ounce of sympathy, and I don't. Yes, people can still be mad, because when you make these agreements, I can't use iTunes. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll just don't use iTunes, I guess. But nobody's doing that, right? And so reasonably, they purposefully force you into things because you need them or because it's reasonable to use them.
They make it inconvenient.
If my kids,
I think it's going past inconvenient.
My kids were remote learning, right? They needed to go on school. They had to do that. They had to agree to all types of shit. All of this Google Classroom,
that shit don't make sense to me.
But my point, but it's inconvenient.
No way you're getting around it's inconvenient, right? John. Just put him in start doing homeschooling.
Right. And so
there's a way around it. There's a way around it. Just doing homeschooling or do
not reasonable. And so that's my point.
I say practical.
They purposely,
it's not practical.
They put your backs against the wall, so you have a choice, but you don't have a choice. And so since that's the case, any benefit that I can have to try to get from under the thumb of these tech corporations, I have no sympathy for the people that are losing out.
My ultimate issue again with this situation is in the contradiction where all of a sudden people want to act like it matters. Right. If you were a person, I'm not saying it's everybody, but if you were a person who gave a shit about your information being out there from jump and like regularly, like, damn, like, I don't want to fucking agree to this, but I need to do blah, blah, blah. That's a little different. But if now all of a sudden the only reason it's even in your mind is because Apple said, hey, do you want them to track you? Go fuck yourself. That's my point.
Well, I think it was in a lot of people's minds. I don't think that nobody was thinking about it. I think it was too confusing to understand.
I don't think people are thinking.
I'm not going to say one way or another. I'm just going to say I'm just saying, like, if you just give a shit because it was presented to you, like, I don't care about your opinion, is what I'm saying.
I think you're thinking about it. I think you're thinking about it too black and white, and it's not even really that black and white if you really think about it.
I think I'm just thinking about it hostilely.
When anybody's doing that stuff, it's like I said before. If I'm putting information on this site to purchase something, right? They have my information. Like I said, they can advertise to me. But if that app is on the low doing some ninja shit, listening to my stuff, even after I leave their app, now you're invading it. If I voluntarily give you stuff, I'm okay with that. So you can't judge people that voluntarily put their information, their address and their name in Amazon, right? Because they want to buy something, and then be like, well, you put your name in there and your information, so you can't get mad when they're listening to you outside of it. The whole point is they're invading your privacy outside of using their software or their app.
I'm just saying you can turn that off though.
No, I know that it's almost impossible to do that. They make it so hard.
Not on iPhones. Not on iPhones.
I'm just saying on Facebook.
The background data stuff you could always turn off.
But on Facebook specifically, if you wanted to go through Facebook specifically to turn off that stuff, it's almost impossible to find those settings. It's almost impossible. I've tried it many times, right? Now, all I got to do is open the app, and Apple says, hey, you want to turn this shit off or not? Right. They cut out the convoluted, so I am not being fucked because I just gave up. Mm-hmm. Right? I was trying to find where my political information was. I can't find it.
Oh, no, they took it off. I was trying to find it while we were podding. Sorry.
But even still, there's more. It's stuff like that.
The closest that I got to finding out what they use is under ad preferences and ad topics. When I see to manage my ad topics, number one for me was alcohol. 2 was parenting, 3 was pets, and 4 was social issues, elections, and politics. But it took my classification out.
Actually, so, that should be another episode. What's your Facebook classification? What are you talking for?
I still stand by my opening statement in fuck Facebook because they
always tech giants.
Listen, I'm a big fan of kind of fuck corporate America only because this. All right, this is kind of getting off topic, but the social responsibility.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Alpha 5 podcast.
I just don't feel it's there, but I guess that's a different conversation for a different day. But that's one of the reasons why I say fuck Facebook. And again, like now you're crying out at opposition, right? So go fuck yourself. Now you're being faced with the same struggles that the small guy. You're being faced with the same struggle in a very small percentage of what small business guys have to go through. So sorry, not sorry. Apple's doing the right thing, but let's just maintain.
And screw you all the tech giants who are just hanging around, just trying to be the government sidekick, trying to be Robin.
And Twitter and Facebook. Listen, the nigga's not president no more. Let him back on. I'm bored. Stop. Let him back. Let him back.
Not
enough.
All right. This kind of coincides, but I'll make this quick. Have you guys noticed how much monitoring is being done, especially over the last 4 years, and how much checks and balances have been going on these platforms? I mentioned earlier we got an episode kicked off of YouTube because we talked about a certain
what I realize is that a lot of these corporate Trump and those people they've been trying to sue Twitter, right? They've been trying to sue. So, and this ain't the first lawsuit that I'm sure they've had to deal with, right? They probably been, I've gotten bullied on your platform and you allowed this, or somebody was threatening this person on your platform and it led to a murder and now you're responsible. So how many lawsuits do you think Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, daily, right? Daily, it's got to happen all the time. And at some point, listen,
think I can look this up? You can look this up? I'm curious.
Probably. At some point, they're gonna have to defend themselves. So I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand from a business standpoint, hey nigga, I'm gonna have to regulate my platform because I don't want these lawsuits.
And you know what? And I actually don't even blame that. I just blame society, where everybody just doesn't want to take accountability. So, like Eminem said back in the day, everybody's blaming me for everybody acting up. I'm just putting music out there. It's up to you to freaking take it, my words, and actually use it and put it to real life. You know?
Here's something super relevant. Come on, open. Twitter faces class action privacy lawsuit for sharing security info with advertisers.
Ooh, so it's not just personal info, security info.
It's not.
And this is not like years ago. This was September 22nd, 2020. This is an article on CNET.com.
Well, a lot of people don't use Twitter, the Twitter app. A lot of people use the official Twitter, like clients. Because I don't use the Twitter app. I use Twitterrific, which is a app, like it's a client of it. So it's still the same thing, but it's not the actual app. So I don't get advertised to on there. You know what I mean? So I don't pay for
apparently, I don't know if this has been resolved or not, but the lawsuit was seeking $5,000 in damages for every person in Washington affected by Twitter's privacy lapse.
Oh man.
The lawsuit alleges that Twitter violated a Washington law, so it's specific, against unauthorized procurement or sale of phone records, as well as its users' civil rights to privacy. The complaint says Twitter should compensate for the mental pain and suffering it caused users and is seeking up to $5 million in total.
You know, I agree with that lawsuit, right?
Mental pain and suffering.
Yes, nigga, you sold my shit, and now I'm suffering mentally because because mentally I have to think about my information.
Oh my god, it's a fucking blizzard. It's a fucking.
You don't get to sell my shit. You don't get to make money off of me. You don't.
On the next episode.
It is a blizzard outside. The snowflakes are falling
until they sell your shit, and you find out specifically.
They've been selling my shit, bro. The moment you
be mad. And
the moment you picked up one of these iPhones, you can't see it because everything is black around me. The moment you pick up one of these, you're done. Like, you're done. You're done. That's the realist. That's the world we are in. You're done.
Let me ask you. So you know what a class action lawsuit is, right? We all know what that is. So I've been part plenty of them, right? You just get some shit in the mail. They say, hey, you went down on this? You'd be like, yeah. So if somebody sent you some class action shit and say, hey, these niggas was wrong. You got some money coming to you. You want to be down? You're not going to take the money? You gonna call yourself a snowflake? Yeah, exactly. You're full of shit. Thank you.
I'll call myself a snowflake. That don't mean.
You still gonna take the check?
One doesn't mean that the other is wrong. I'm just saying.
Why call somebody a snowflake?
Because you said that
you're compensated for something that you was owed.
I said snowflake because you said that you agreed with the lawsuit. I can disagree with the lawsuit, but still want to get my bank.
Nah, I listen. It is going to be super hard.
Why am I going to throw away the money? It doesn't mean I have to agree with the reason I'm getting it, but if it's going to be offered, come on,
Jack Dorsey. How much did he just sell his first tweet for? $390 million.
No,
Jack Dorsey,
2.5 million. I think it was.
I thought it was over 3, but either way, Twitter's fine. These niggas, I have no problem with regular people.
Are you talking about the
NFT?
It was 2.6 million, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. Jack Dorsey owns mad shit. He owns Cash App too. Well, so you own Twitter and Cash App.
Twitter was the one that sold it. Like
right.
He was the one. He's 2.9 million. I'm sorry, 2.9 million. You were close. Almost 3.
Right. That's my point. So if people are gonna slap a little $5 million lawsuit on Jack Dorsey, why do I give a shit? He don't care either.
All right. So I guess my joking about it comes up from like the people that brought the lawsuit up, but not for those who are like, yeah, fuck it, I'll join in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the two different kind of categories that are presented there.
Well,
right?
Usually how it works with class action lawsuits, it's not a person, it's usually a lawyer that finds where some malpractice or some shit was going on and files a lawsuit. And lawyers do it for money. They're not doing it for principle.
Yeah, but I know they need a complaint for it, but very often though it also comes up from like a very, very small group or even one person who found a problem or has a real stink and bug up their ass. All of a sudden that lawyer realizes, hey, this could be bigger than just you, and now it becomes class action. You know
get that money. Get it. I'm not mad. Do the lawsuits. Do all the lawsuits. This is America. This is America. Get compensated. You talking to a nigga who believes in reparations. Get compensated.
I
get compensated.
Dead as sometimes I wish we could just go back. Like things were just so. If you really think about it, you went back 10 years.
2011.
Well, yeah, maybe not. All right, so let's take it back to I don't know.
There is no time in America.
20 years. No. It
has to be.
I'm saying like 20 to 25 years. Yeah, when like all you had was the brick phone, the internet was new.
We had a sweet spot.
Yeah,
we had a technology sweet spot.
It to a degree. You had a privacy sweet spot. You had a privacy sweet spot, right? Yeah. And people just didn't realize it. That's part of the, like I said before. Everything that's been going on is our fault, and Apple's trying to help us rectify it, or give us an avenue of control, right?
I'm gonna buy your next
but
iPhone.
nobody should get it twisted that we caused this. Your willingness to give up your information caused this. So recognize your faults before you try to get angry. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Terms and conditions.
Is that a fair statement?
I think it is.
All right.
The accountability.
Sure.
It comes down to that.
Sure.
There's a common theme around that. A lot of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
We better self-reflect, everybody. Let's get it together now.
We're here, Fabian. We're here.
Too lazy to read that shit. Look what happens.
I'm going
to agree because we're running out of time.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank, aka PJ, here with John and Fabian. We appreciate you tuning in. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We're even on TikTok. Holla. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that share. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you next week. Peace.